Welcome to Concussion Talk Podcast. This is episode 75. I'm Nick Mercer.
And I'm Erin Guilfoyle.
And we're just going to talk about both what's going on this week, really, which is, for me, I'm doing a standardized patient thing with med school, and Erin will talk about that. And this, like I said, it's episode 75, and I was looking ahead of time to see what the anniversary thing. I know, like, gold is like 50, anniversary 50, and silver is 75. Silver 25 is silver, and electrum is gold and silver alloy. So it could be that, but it could also be, I saw a diamond, which is now 60, which is, but anyway, that's just beside the point. But anyway, yeah, 70. It's episode 75. So that's pretty exciting, pretty good stuff. So
pretty great, yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned to me earlier, like the MUN Med School has a standardized patient program, and you've been in that since 2018.
2018, yeah, and I didn't know anything about it, but my doctor, who is actually a high school friend, but more like she's a friend. She's like one of my best friends in high school, his sister's friend. So we kind of knew it, and then eventually, as you spend more time at St. John's, Gesundheit, Erin. You mute yourself. Aaron's got a bit of a cold. And yeah. So anyway, she's my doctor now. She said that the MUN, she's obviously a doctor, and she teaches it at a MUN med school, and that the Health Sciences, which is the main hospital here in St. John's, has a program for med students, and it's you just go in and I have enough problems with my brain injury, and then that's why she mentioned it to me. And then I had cancer, so that was even more exciting. And but this is all I'm doing now. They do second year students from the med school here. You could go in as just as this in the fall term. It's just neurology patients. That's what I'm doing tomorrow. My first session is tomorrow, which is Monday, because we're recording this on Sunday. I'll put this out on Tuesday, so they'll have done this by the time they hear it. But I think I'll have another one. But then I go back in the winter and do a fuller, like one that's just everything, and just I'm just a patient. They not figure out, but they take my history and stuff. So they ask me like what my history is, and then they do some physical tests and stuff. So my history takes a while, and they ask if I'm on taking any medication or if I'm doing anything just general history that doctors should know. My social history, some of that, and my social circumstances now, and my medical history, and tomorrow apparently, which is good because this will be out on Tuesday after they've done this. But the doctor probably wants all of us neurology patients, so they're confined in what they'll zero in, the students will zero in on. But to not give our history as in I have a brain injury, or I have I've learned about some other neurological conditions, which I'll mention to you after. Ask you questions about this after, but I don't want to say any other conditions. I don't give people anyway, that people tell people invade privacy sort of thing eventually. And so they just want the students to figure out what was like after I tell them what happened, not what happened, and how I'm feeling and stuff, and what I notice my symptoms are, if they can figure out what happened to me. But that's new. In the past, it's just been like, okay, why are you here? And I'll say, I had a brain injury, And
Interesting. So it's like a training program for them.
It's just training. Like it's not a test. It's not a grade on it. They go in there with there are 5, 6. I don't know how big the groups are now, and they go in with the tutor, which is a doctor slash I guess prof. They're all profs, not prof, doctor slash instructor, and they go in and they ask me history and do some tests, and the doctor will say, "Oh, you think about this and about this, and check this, check his eyes, check his range of movement, check his, and ask him why does he do that? Why does he live alone? Does he walk? Can he do this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, right." Last questions, but of course they always ask these. They're always very good, and they always cover everything in the questions basically. But doctor, the tutors there to guide them towards those questions, and they'll give them some tips about what to look for. And instead of doing this test, like one eye, one hand, I wish this is we're doing this on audio, but if they do on video, do cover one eye, and they did the pupil size, right? They dilate.
Mm.
You can check the light in my eye, light in the next eye, the pendulum thing which nobody can see because Erin and I can see because we're talking to each other via video call, but no one else can see. I'm doing doing a little U right eye with a pen light, but they do that sort of thing. And the doctor will say, just do this, or to test this nerve, try this. This is easier. You don't need to do that. That makes it more complicated, and just do this and the tips for and stuff like that. So
Mm.
you learn a lot just by being there. I'm I'm basically a doctor, is what I'm saying. I'm yeah,
For how much you've been around them, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So through it too, like all the students, they basically get a turn going through, and this time they're gonna have to try to figure out what happened.
that's my understanding. I'll find out tomorrow. But
Oh.
what's been what happened is they go in, they say who's gonna do history, and then one person or two people will say I'll do history, and then they'll ask me questions about what happened basically, and
Hmm.
then or what have you noticed, and can you do this, can you do that, can you move your left arm, can you move your right arm, can you lift this, can you bend over, can you do blah blah, and then they'll say who's gonna do physical, and then they'll say who's gonna do medical, who's gonna do history, who's gonna do physical, and then they'll do like all the way down in a examination room, like which is just doctor's office, and laying on the examination table, and they'll ask me to like one thing they do they'll like run my like 1 foot from my knee to my leg and down and stuff like
Hmm.
that, and then like they'll also like try to resist my arm pushing your arms apart, and like try to squeeze my arms together, try to touch your finger off your nose and then off my finger and then off your nose and follow this light and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the sort of standard press stuff, but they'll do different stuff tomorrow. But the neurology is specifically just neurology patients that are going in tomorrow, and I guess they know that, but I mean I'm supposed to just say, which is fine now because they don't know. They're not going to hear us till Tuesday even if they do hear, which I'm not too convinced they will because I don't get any listeners in St. John's, but yeah, they'll go in and they'll just say like they'll just what am I saying? Yeah, they'll just like they'll ask me like why are you here or whatever the better way of saying it. What brings you to my office? But it'll be a
Hmm.
bunch, it'll be like six of them, and then I'll say, oh, I woke up, or I'm in the hospital, or I've noticed that I've limp or whatever, and they'll say okay, and they'll try to go back and do whatever they can to uncover the mystery. So I
Yeah.
guess that's, but of course, yeah,
It's interesting. I wonder too, like where they're switching it up this year with that kind of
yeah,
format, how well they're gonna do with it.
yeah. I know it's gonna be a bit different this year too, where it's just like where I usually am in the office in the
Mm.
examination room, but this year I'm at home in front of my computer, and
Oh,
it's
so they're
online
gonna do it through telehealth.
through Zoom, yeah, through
Yeah.
Zoom, and so that's basically a little let's say introductory session, but not just making sure that everyone knows how to use it and stuff, and everyone knows all the patients were good with it, and understood how it worked and everything. So they'll just do that, and then so I'm not sure how they'll do because they didn't do well. The history will be the same, I guess, because it's not going to change where I am. But physical
Yeah.
physical wise, I mean, I can't really if I lie down, it'll be hard to do it I'd move my laptop away and somewhere my iPad. And I gotta figure out if I use my iPad, if I can use my laptop, move it away and try to show them my legs or whatever I'm doing. Like if I can lie down and do stuff. I don't know. That's
Yeah, I
weird.
wonder if they'll have
That's
like altered checkup kind of status things, like
yeah,
ways to
yeah,
check
yeah.
that stuff.
They must. That's the point. They must have some. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why the doctor wants them to have that figure out what's on me
Mm.
via the questions and not me tell them because they'll use that as a better indication of maybe they'll ask more pointy questions or not they don't
Mm.
ask pointy questions anyway but they'll ask different style questions that'll help elicit answers that they'll figure out will be show more
Mm.
like, oh, I can do this, or I can't do this, or my left eye is low, my right eye is fine, and my left side is weaker than my right side, or vice versa. I don't want to give anything away to people who may hear this, but
Mm.
I also figured that people who may hear this would also easily just chat with their friends and who examine me on Monday, so I'm not going to worry about that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens, what they're gonna ask, and yeah,
Yeah. Do you know about how many participants they usually have?
there are. Let's see, in the ology. I mean, this is my first ology session, and it's the first one for everyone for this year. I assume I'm pretty sure it is, and I mean they don't go till much past what they'll do it 1 week or maybe 2 week, 1 week. Let's say 2 week. They do 2 week until mid December, I guess. They take off the
Oh.
holidays, I guess. Then and there are about six people per or six five. It's a few people. Six, let's say six per students. Yeah, 6 students per group. They have
Mm.
like but it's second year. They're all second year students, right? So second
Mm.
year Mun is about say what 60? I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh.
I'm just gonna guess. My
Yeah.
students, and then because then in the winter term, in starting in January, I go in just one person does the history and stuff like that. They spend so it's just there's this term. It's just them figuring out the looking for a doctor, and when we go in after in the winter term, it's just I go in and they ask me they do the same gamut of tests and stuff and same questions, same types of questions, and it's just them, it's just the student and me, and then they're going to say Monday and do the thing with, and then on Wednesday I'll go in again and do they'll present to a doctor saying this is Nick Mercer. He's 40 years old and he's had a brain injury and blah 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 and he ended up and they'll tell the whole history and stuff and yada
Mm.
yada yada. So, but and I do that. I mean, if I do it alone, that they do it just one person once. So I go in. So it's one session is like a week, and let's do it like Monday. Go on Monday. They present me Wednesday. They present me to the doctor. I guess Friday I can go in again, but I've never done that. But I guess I could, and then just repeat. So I'm gonna do probably
Mm.
what 10 because it goes from like January, late January to like late April, I guess.
Yeah.
Forget now. So it's and
Hmm.
only one person, so but that's only like 10 people. So, but there's a bunch more people, obviously, and it's 10 people in med school second year is not really gonna cut it. But
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they say they think like your symptoms or causes are too.
yeah,
I wonder
oh
if
yeah,
they'll touch on anything you've never considered before.
yeah. Well, because it's like I said, like in the term they do the whole like you go in and present, and then they'll say this is Nick, and he has this and this and this. They'll present. They'll say this, and they'll ask me questions. Then they'll present to the doctor on Wednesday. but their doctor doesn't know anything more about me than they do. I mean, most times doctor meeting me for the first time too. So and
Yeah.
this time the doctor's with them, so they don't have to present again. They'll just say they don't have to figure out what's wrong with me, and then present on Wednesday. They'll say what they think my problem is, and the doctor will always has a very keen eye. Thankfully, they're good at figuring out what's. But I bet you can't do this. I bet you can. I bet you have trouble with this. I bet you this problem's in it. Yes, that's right. And then like so, especially a neurologist.
Yeah.
How's your cat?
It was.
What is her name of your cat?
Sunny.
Sunny. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I told that before. Yeah, that's my cat's name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's not
He
right.
he usually doesn't meow if I'm talking, but apparently today he's upset.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's interesting because I never knew that Mun did this with their patients, but I guess it makes sense.
yeah,
It'll just be really neat with COVID though, like how they have to do it through Zoom now. Because
yeah,
as I was telling you before I jumped on this call, I was actually on a telehealth
yeah.
service call, and
And
I
how
found it super
and
good.
how did that work? What did they just ask you just like questions about like just how you
Yeah.
feeling and are you coughing up phlegm or are you have
So it's
fever?
through, there's this app, I guess, or it's on a website, Metacuro. It's an online clinic. It's Newfoundland Labrador specific too, so it's
Okay,
doctors from here around here. You
mostly St.
can,
John's, I assume.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's through, you can go through MCP as well, which is awesome.
Cool. Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So I just kind of like
MCP, a lot of people, MCP is our health insurer,
health card. Yeah.
not our provincial health insurance.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't help me much because I'm still a New Brunswick resident,
Oh yeah.
but
What's yours called?
Medicare.
Always Maker, because in Ontario it's OHIP and
Yeah.
BC I never got one, but
No.
MCP and OHIP I know, and
Yeah.
your Medicare.
Everywhere's is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even without a card, it's only $40 for a visit, which
Nice.
could save you the money of a cab, honestly.
Yeah. That's true.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, because
so
your car is out of commission now too, right? So
yeah, my
that's
car's still
helpful.
out of commission, but
Yeah.
that's fine. But yeah, no, it was really interesting because I signed up and within half an hour he gave me a call back and it was just on the phone.
Oh, so
Doctor,
wasn't video.
what?
It wasn't video.
No, no, he just called me on the phone. And I guess if he needed to see something, like he kind of just believed when I said like I have X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But if he needed to see like if I had an open sore, I imagine he'd be like, "Oh, okay, like we're gonna switch to a video format." But a friend of mine actually, she told me about it today because she's up in Goose Bay, rural
Oh,
community,
yeah.
and finds it much harder to get into a doctor and that kind of thing.
Oh,
So she uses this source all the time and highly recommend because wow, like that
nice.
was the fastest I've ever seen by a doctor. So
Excellent. That's
yeah,
great. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
like you were saying, like, it's been interesting with the. Like, I had never heard of this program either, but of course, I found out just like I told you, being that through my doctor said, it'd be a good, but I guess because she probably, I don't know, she had never seen her be a tutor, but maybe because we know each other and she's
Mm,
like, oh, I can't be in the same room as this guy because I know him and they'll be able to tell people more
yeah.
than they, blah, blah. So, but so maybe she did that. She probably did it before because I've seen a bunch of different. I see different doctors every time I go there. They have
Hmm.
different doctors basically doing the whole tutoring thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just found out in 2018, 2017, I guess she said that, and then I had cancer, and then I had to delay in my start. But or did I? Did I do it before? No, I did. Did I do it before I had cancer? No, I didn't. I don't think I did it before I had cancer. No. But they just asked me about. This is all just about neurology. So
Mm.
I'll tell them about cancer. They ask like how are your bowels, how's your guts. And it's like, oh, they're not there. They're pretty good, but well, they are there or something. But yeah, but so be interesting to see what they say about what like you said, like what different. Because it's only second year students, so now they can know about what different conditions that could be. So we
Hmm.
actually kind of more trying to see what the doctor says. The
Yeah.
doctor's like, oh, he could have this or could have this or yeah, because I found out about this new, not new condition, but it's not new at all, but like new to me. And yeah,
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see maybe next time we chat too, like once you've gone through the process, how it went.
yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't
kind of
want to.
discuss how the Zoom and everything and if it was better or worse or awkward kind of thing to try to communicate with them.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. Maybe we'll do it in like the new year sometime because I want to wait till after. I don't want to do too many of these of like
Mm.
describing but the four neurology patients. But when neurology patients are gone, then I can just and the rest of the patients will just know my history just by me telling them. Then I'll feel free to just talk about what they asked. But yeah,
Mm.
I think it'd be very interesting just to find out like. Well, I mean, it should just see tomorrow what they as to how it goes and what exactly they'll probably learning at the same time I am. So they'll be like, okay, can I ask them to do this or can I? They'll be doing. I can see a student saying, well, can you do this? Can you move your iPad here or there? Can we
Yeah.
see your legs or your arms or your whatever? And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's gonna be a learning experience for all of us and. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. I think I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm interested in really finding out how it goes. And
Yeah. Because
yeah,
it truly is the new way of medicine now.
it
It'll
has to be.
be a
Yeah,
lot of things virtual, and these are going to be the doctors of tomorrow, so
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
a great thing.
it's a good, it's a rude way to introduce it, but it's a good way to good thing to get started. People can, so people from like in like rural. Oh, sorry, did my speaker? No, okay, didn't. Um, like rural communities, people who can't
Mhm.
get it's just easy access. Or that's my speaker went up weird, but it has easy access to medical professionals as we do
Mhm.
here in St. John's and other cities and capital regions. Um, but yeah, but people like your friend in Goose Bay, like they telehealth and video in these video calls will be like I said, like the way of the future. The new way
Yeah.
is gonna have to go if people want to get really make use of this of the power of Zoom and Skype and video conferencing and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I think
and I
that's
wonder too, like for patients who get quite anxious in hospitals or going to see a doctor, like
yeah
if it will help them because then it's like you're not even leaving your house, like you're
yeah
still
exactly.
comfortable.
I know
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I'm not saying a real I'm a real doctor. I am, but I seem like a professional. Well, actually, they're not doctors yet because they're only second year. But I am
Yeah.
seeing one doctor. I'm not going for a diagnosis tomorrow, so
Mm.
I'm not gonna be as anxious. But I'm not that I'm not that anxious is not in my makeup really, but anxiety. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, but I mean, I said I think it'd be. I mean, I can't see it hurting. I can't see it being a because you're say like, if you're just doing this conference call at home, you can just say, "Oh, you need to get water, and you need to use the bathroom." I don't feel bad about doing any of that because you're at home. Whereas if you're like in a hospital, maybe in your and wait times is one thing everyone laments about doctors. And if you can
Mhm.
just be at home, it's not really waiting. It's just being at home, staying down.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I think that's really good aspect of it for sure. So
Yeah, no, that's great. Like, I'm really interested to hear more about how the process goes and everything because I didn't realize it was going to be
yeah,
online and all of that. But
yeah,
it's really good training for them and to like be able to actually work with survivors and everything. Like, I
yeah,
imagine most of the neurology cases they have come in would be brain injury survivors that the medicine community knows.
yes, but
Yeah.
also other conditions like such as like epilepsy
Mm.
and stroke and
Yeah.
I found another one So I talked about it after a bench after because it's another one that I'd never heard before. So it'd be interesting to, I don't want to mention it because it'd be interesting to see other people, what their students can figure it out because it's one that they probably had heard before either. But it's,
Mm.
I mean, it's, and yeah. So but I mean, but at the Brains Association, were you generally basically brain injury the whole time, is it?
For the most part, so any like related kind of brain disorder, I do have training within,
Yeah.
but our
It's
resources are
traumatic.
aimed towards like brain injury survivors, obviously.
So
Uh,
traumatic brain injury.
Sorry.
Just traumatic brain injury.
Yeah,
Just.
yeah, for the most part. We do have like a couple clients with us have had a brain aneurysm,
Oh.
and those would be non-traumatic kind of things,
Yeah.
but and like stroke patients as well have been with us and joined us. For the most part too, though, there is a lot of other resources I can point them towards.
That's good.
So like there's Epilepsy Society of Newfoundland, Labrador, and many other nonprofits that are willing to step in and help out. So it's like
Yeah.
if we don't exactly have the resources or sources to point them towards, I can reach out to colleagues within the area and help them out in that way, which is
And
nice.
you were telling me before that you had meetings with the other nonprofits. Other in the sector like every week or every 2 weeks or how's it every
Yeah,
week?
every second Tuesday.
Every second Tuesday. And do you have good relations with all other nonprofits
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just
So
general health
we
health
try to help
nonprofits or
each
is
other
everyone?
out. Yeah.
It's just the health nonprofits or is it just everyone?
It's pretty much all the ones that would be helping anyone within the disability community kind of thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So it'd be all encompassing together, but like Empower NL, which is the Disability Resource Center type, um, Epilepsy, Newfoundland, Labrador, Learning Disabilities, People First, the Autism Society, trying to go through the list as see them, Hard of Hearing Association, Stuttering Association, all of them. Like it's huge the amount of people that come on our
Oh,
calls. Yeah,
okay.
but it's really great because sometimes, for example, people will go to the Autism Society with someone who's had a brain injury and is very low functioning, and they're like, "Is there any methods that you know of that we could use?" And she'll refer them to me because she'll be
All
like,
right.
"Well, technically that's a brain injury, and you could talk to this girl as well." Like,
Okay.
yeah, and she's like, we do have some things, but obviously, if you want specific to a brain
Yeah.
injury, such as autism, we can put you in touch with them. And if I get a case where someone comes up to me and it's like, oh, well, I've been suffering X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, well, epilepsy is one of those things, and there's a whole society that would be much more
Yeah. Yeah.
than maybe my organization. So
Right.
we always look for ways to connect the patients to the best possible resource we can. And we've even chatted about possibly having a central community space where we could work out of and have like as meeting spots. So
Or have like a little hub, like intensive care unit almost. Whereas like people, not intensive in that sense, but like just a central hub where you say like, okay, that
yeah, like
room
a
is that
community
room
space.
is that the way they're designed, physically
Yeah,
designed. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we've like chatted about that a bit. So that might be something that'll come in the future, hopefully.
Good.
But,
Nice. Nice. And
yeah.
so speaking of Brandy Association in Newfoundland Labrador, what's going on there? I don't know this week and just now in general.
Yeah, so our 50-50 draw is still on the go. We're recruiting some volunteers for some new committees. We've got social media, fundraising, and an HR and public relations committee.
And if
Uh,
people want to volunteer for that, what do they do?
Get in touch with me. It would be coordinator at nlbia.ca. And that's my email. Would just shoot me an email and I can send you the volunteer package and some information. Essentially, we've just been trying to revamp our website, social media content, work with our ambassadors, which is a program, and get some video content going out. So hopefully trying to get presentations available in a video format that we can send to schools because we still
Right.
can't read them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of new things in the new year, hopefully coming up for fundraisers and all that. just with Christmas coming up and all of that, we're not really going to start anything new right now. But
That's a good plan, yeah. And
yeah,
people want to buy 50-50 tickets as your for a fundraiser for NLBIA. How do they do that?
yeah, they can email me again at the email I said before, and then also find us on Facebook, NL Brain Injury Association, and then they could send a message through there, and they'll see our contact number on there as well.
Great. Well, I mean, I guess that's it for me this week. I mean, I got nothing. Darren, do you have anything else to add, or just
Nope,
no?
it's
Okay, so we'll
been a slow week of
well,
trying to recover, so
yeah, yeah, exactly. Hopefully you'll do you have the stuff you can get for that now? Like you have.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go out to the pharmacy
Oh
soon.
yes, yes, right, excellent. Well, yes, hopefully you feel better this week, and you sound better. You sound better, and not as tired as you were on even Friday. We had the phone call with McGill, Soon's, Emily, and Taya, and you seem more rested now. So hopefully you got some rest, and Sonny didn't keep you up too late. I don't see Sonny anymore. Sonny, I think was at your window. Was he? Cause was it he or she? Oh, she's got to stand there. Ah, nice. Okay, well, yeah, well, thank you so much, and everyone for listening. And I'll let Erin sign off if she wants to just give their first sign off of our first real one together, I guess.
Goodness, I didn't prepare anything, but thank you so much all for listening, and thank you, Nick, for having me. But
Great. Well, thanks, Erin, and thank you all. Concussion Talk podcast is presented by HeadCheck Health. HeadCheck Health bridges the gaps in concussion care through simple, powerful technology. Join organizations like the Canadian Football League, Track Factory Racing, the Canadian Junior Hockey League, Eastern Washington University, and Volleyball Canada, who rely on HeadCheck Health to improve communication and optimize care. Visit headcheckhealth.com for more. Music at the beginning of this podcast is by Ben Sound. www.bensound.com.